age 59 and a half. This is a big one. We could spend the entire show on it. I wrote almost an entire chapter in my book, Bulletproof, about age 59 and a half. So, Heather, jump in anywhere you want to with all the different things that can happen. But what happens when you turn 59 and a half?
So the intention of retirement accounts is for retirement. So obviously the reason that there is a penalty to take most withdrawals before 59 and a half, unless you meet an exception like death, disability, first time home purchase up to 10,000, certain criteria that you have to meet, is because the whole point is to save for your retirement. So when you get to that age, that is the point at which you can take distributions from most plans. Now, certain qualified plans, if you're still working, they may or may not let you. They have to have an in-service withdrawal provision, or you might have to retire or something like that. But you're still not going to pay a 10% penalty. So when you get to 59 and a half, that's considered, okay, I've made it this far. Once I take a distribution, I no longer have to worry about this additional 10% early withdrawal tax in addition to ordinary income tax. So that's the magic age. Now, is that the point at which you should take it? I'd say probably not. If you're, you could be spending at that point another 30 years in retirement, and you're probably still working. I mean, people are living and working longer. So, but it is the age at which, you can check that box and no longer have to worry about it. It is also the age that qualifies in the dual requirement for Roth, for tax-free Roth distributions. That's one of the qualifying events, and usually the one that people meet along with the 5-year holding period. So it's a critical age that you can say, okay, I've gotten to the place. I finally can get, if I need money out of my qualified plans, I know that I don't have to pay this 10% penalty anymore.
That's right. And it's also a great planning age from this perspective that inside a 401k or a 403b, often you have very limited choices inside the plan option. So very few things to invest in, not a lot of diversity, and a lot of times almost no safety inside it. Just maybe sitting in money market for 0.5%. But when there is an age 59 and a half withdrawal exception there, and Heather talked about this, most people know it as an age 59 and a half withdrawal. It's also called an in-service withdrawal. But when the company plan allows it, this is the beauty to it. Say you have $500,000 in your company plan, in your 401k. You can leave $400,000 in there if you want to and roll out $100,000 of it. Or you could take out every single penny of it. If you're done with risk and you realize you're too close to retirement to take on that risk, you can roll the entire amount out and do a rollover to an IRA. Give you a whole lot more options, safety, income riders, all kinds of things, the whole spectrum. But it doesn't close your company plan. It's still open, and so your next paycheck, you can still do your payroll, contributions in, you'll still get your company match. It leaves it open. So there's just so many options that are there. Avoiding the 10% penalties, being able to take distributions without 20% withholdings if you do rollovers, and just all kinds of things. So
yeah, that's a very common question I get among financial professionals. Clients say, I really don't maybe necessarily want to have the exact holdings that are in my 401k, and I would like to diversify or put it somewhere over here and have more choices. I always say, if your client has a 401k and they're under 59 and a half, forget about it. Because most plans, first of all, the plan has to allow for what's called a non-hardship in-service withdrawal provision. And they're usually not going to allow one before 59 and a half, because what's odd, it always seemed the opposite of what, it defies logic to me, because under tax law, elected deferrals, the portion that the employee puts in on their own behalf that they contribute, isn't permitted to come out while a person's working until they're 59 and a half. However, the employer match and rollover dollars can come in before 50 or come out before 59 and a half. It's weird. You would think that our own contributions can come out, but it can't. So I would say don't bother really going to look for an in-service withdrawal provision, because most plans are usually going to require 59 and a half for in-service withdrawals. So yeah, that is a critical age. If they made it to 59 and a half, again, the plan doesn't have to allow it, but most plans usually do for non-hardship in-service withdrawals. They don't always have to, but at least like Brad says, they can let them take it out. For hardship withdrawals, they can let the monies out before then. However, the thing with hardship withdrawals, it has to meet an immediate and unforeseeable need that they can't get the money from another source, but that can't be rolled over. And oddly enough, if they're under 59 and a half, they're going to pay the penalty for it. So it's not an eligible rollover, and they're going to pay a penalty. That's a totally different type of distribution. But 59 and a half is the critical age for, I've got money in my 401k. I've finally reached that age. Now there's a possibility that you can go back to your employer and ask if you can take any money out and perhaps roll it into an IRA to diversify or do what you need to do. Good point.
And I'll say in the Springfield area, of course, I know we have listeners all over the world, but in the Springfield area, it's about 95% of the time that the company plan will allow for an in-service withdrawal or an age 59 and a half withdrawal. So Cox, Mercy, a lot of your big companies, 3M, they all allow it. If you don't know whether or not your company allows it, you can just go to someone in HR or call the custodian. If it's Fidelity or whoever the custodian is on your statement, just call and say, do you allow for age 59 and a half withdrawals? And we're more than happy to help you do that too. We'll call with you. We know what to say. But then they'll let you know. So if you're listening right now, you're age 57, you know you're not changing jobs, but you don't like your 401k or the options that are there, and you lost a ton of money in 2022 when the market crashed, and you're like, hey, I don't want to go through this again. You need to put on the calendar age 59 and a half. And it is literally the day you turn 59, go out 6 months. It is to the day 59 and a half. That's when you become eligible for it. If you want to know more about this, listen, I've written national articles about this. There's a chapter 4 in my book, Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. I go into 6 reasons why you want to consider an in-service withdrawal or an age 59 and a half withdrawal. It's a key planning age. So we're going to take a quick break. If you want a free copy of the book or a free consultation, just call in anytime. It's 866-780-7233. We'll be back right after this message. More with Heather in just a minute.